Ball on the right hash. 3rd and goal from the 5. Baltimore blitzes. Ben back. Throws that pass. It's caught. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Deontay Johnson with 1:48 to go.
This was an unbelievable route by Deontay Johnson. I mean, he's so wide open, Jim. Watch this route. It's a slant. It's a slant. Nope. Puts his foot in the ground, and Humphrey had to go over the top.
Billy, I asked you before, does Ben still have the magic? Does 7 still have it? He's still got it, baby.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface. Missi Matthews joined by Bob Pompeani, and hopefully your heart rate has gone down a little bit after the Steelers' thrilling 20-19 win over the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers now 6-5-1. We know how these games play out, but every time it still gets the blood pumping.
It's unbelievable. At the end of the game, through 3 quarters, didn't have that many dramatic plays. Steelers trying to figure out what they're going to do. But I think it was key, Missy, that they continued to find a way to pound the football. Even though the results weren't there early, it led to bigger numbers in the 4th quarter, opened up some passing lanes, and next thing you know, 17 points on the board, and Ben Roethlisberger was terrific in crunch time.
Absolutely. The Steelers defense, defending Lamar Jackson. Coach Tomlin referred to him as Houdini leading up to this game. TJ Watt, no practice this week, comes off the COVID list on Saturday. 7 sacks, just being able to contain him, I think was the key, and something we have not seen the Steelers defense be able to do consistently over these past few games where they have not been in the win column.
And that play right there, Missy, kind of summed it up. He had nowhere to go. The edges were contained. He had to go up the middle, but there comes, obviously going to be a lot of people, and then a shoestring tackle there by Watt, one of his 3.5 sacks. And again, containment. It's very obvious what they did there. They stayed in their lanes. They did not allow him to escape, because when he does, it could be just backbreaking.
Absolutely. Akilla Witherspoon filling in for Joe Hayden. Montravius Adams just joined the Steelers a few days before the game. He was able to plug and play on the defensive line where they've been lacking depth. And Chris Wormley, going against his former team, coach said after the game, he told Wormley when the Steelers traded with him, if the team trades you within the division, that tells you what they think about you. So keep performing like that against them.
No question about that. And Wormley, has been good. He's had to be good because they've had all these injuries. Alu out, still no Stephon Tuitt. Number 95 was running all over the place, and he had to be inspired. He looks like a really cerebral player, Missy. He understands his opportunities, and boy, he stepped up big. And I thought all those guys up front did a very good job of just limiting what was available. And the other thing is their run game. The Ravens are one of the best running teams in the NFL. We've seen that all season long, even without all their injuries. And yet, as this game went on, fewer and fewer big plays in the run game for them.
Certainly good to see in terms of winning the line of scrimmage. The Steelers able to do that on both sides of the ball, something we did not see in Cincinnati. And of course, Ben Roethlisberger received the game ball from Coach Tomlin. Here's more from Ben in his post-game press conference.
Anytime you play that team, that rivalry, that it's a battle, and that's what that game is. I mean, that was kind of the perfect Ravens-Steelers game, if you will. And so huge win for us, especially at home against that team. Like you said, especially after last week. Great bounce back by everybody. Just so proud of everybody.
Ben's 11th game-winning drive versus the Ravens, the most by a quarterback versus any single opponent in NFL history. And as you said, what he was able to do in crunch time down the stretch, Bob, just proves that Ben still has it, and we have seen him do this time and time again.
And a lot of people underplay the experience and the intangible qualities that he has. He's been through this. That helps him, and he can settle some of the young guys' nerves, I believe. And in these moments, he still can get the plays done that needed to be done. And again, this is a great route here by Deontay Johnson because once you plant your foot, now all of a sudden the defender has to react, and he's going to fall off a couple of steps, and he did there. So, and what was good to see about that, Missy, is that he had that big drop early in the game. That was a beautifully thrown pass by Roethlisberger. And last year, Johnson said it would have affected him negatively. And this time he came back and fought harder.
Absolutely. His final stat line, 8 catches, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. But also, John LeGlue, in terms of the Steelers' offensive line, seeing him being able to fill in for B.J. Finney, who went out, who was filling in. I believe this is the 5th left guard the Steelers have had so far this season. in terms of that. But, he stepped up and was phenomenal. I thought the Steelers offensive line maybe took to heart what some of the former teammates, former alumni were saying about them after that loss in Cincinnati, where they were not able to do anything.
Yeah, and I think Mike Tomlin alluded to that at his press conference, where he pretty much said it's not something that we look as an insult. It's a motivational thing. These guys have been there. They've done that. They're sending a message. They're not happy with the way the physicality was, not up to snuff. And I think they had to respond. I think they did respond. All these guys heard this stuff. Mike Tomlin heard it. Normally he doesn't hear anything. He heard it too.
The Steelers working on a short week. Coach Tomlin had his press conference earlier today in terms of injuries. Joe Hayden's still dealing with that foot injury. He's getting treatment, not sure if he'll be available. And then B.J. Finney, who obviously got hurt against the Ravens, his back is being evaluated. And I just feel like on a short week, when you're traveling on a Wednesday, it might be hard for those guys to get back for this one.
And you certainly don't want to put them in there if it means they're going to hurt themselves again. And in terms of Hayden, yeah, you'd want him back there, but I thought Witherspoon really answered the bell. I didn't expect him to start. I certainly didn't expect him to. He almost had an interception. He was good, but that's what Mike Tomlin said. When they acquired him, he was somebody who had started games out in Seattle and throughout his career, so they knew once he got acclimated to this defensive system that he could be somebody who they could rely on. And when you're down to injuries like this, you better rely on guys like that, and they better step up, and he did.
Next man up, absolutely. Before we finish, let's take a look at the AFC North standings, to see where the Steelers land. The Browns had a bye week, but the Steelers sitting there at 6-5-1. The Ravens looked like they were sitting pretty at the top the past few weeks, but obviously this loss helping Cincinnati and the Steelers, and Browns at this point getting closer and closer, and we will see the Ravens and the Browns face off again this week on Sunday. So should be interesting in terms of what happens. Only 5 games left in the season, so it's put up or shut up time, as Coach Tomlin said this week.
And look at that. You tell me which of these teams will emerge as the division winner. We don't know at this point because all of them have injuries. All of them have been good and bad. It's just about what you do down the stretch, and hopefully the Steelers can turn around what has been its trend negatively in December and have a good December and deliver some Christmas presents to their fan base. I'm sure they'll be anxiously awaiting those.
All right, I like where your head's at, Bob. Thanks so much for joining me here today on The Point After, presented by Microsoft Surface. For Bob Pompeani, I'm Missi Matthews. We'll see you guys next time.
What's up, Steelers Nation? It's James Washington. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Steelers official YouTube channel. Thanks again, and here we go.